Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rogue Media. My name is Schlerf, and today I am back to talk about all the TV shows that I'm watching right now. Obviously, I took a little break. The intention of that was for me to look for a job because I'm graduating from college in May, like in like 3, 4 weeks. So I started that in January, and I still haven't found anything, but I decided, you know what, I can find some time to make some videos and write some articles. So I'm back. Sorry for like the weird setup because I am moving out. So like that's all been taken down. A few of these, I don't know how to point like this. A few of these have been taken down as well. But I'm moving out, so it's going to be a weird setup for the next couple weeks and the next couple months potentially too. So that's just a disclaimer on that. But yeah, I'll be back with hopefully a weekly video and article clips, stuff on Twitter every week, for now, at least for the next few weeks, maybe for like month or so. I can hope that that's what I'm going to have, in terms of schedule. And yeah, I should have an article coming out. I don't know if it'll be out either by the time this video comes out or after. I'm not sure what I'm going to release first yet, but there will be an article that I'm writing about Supergirl and Doomsday, kind of about the adaptation of it all. So go check that out if you like comic book stuff or if you're just like movies in general. That's all in the description like usual. And yeah, so this video today, I don't have like a ton planned. It's really going to be just since I've been away for so long, I haven't really been taking a break from watching anything. I've still been watching movies. I've still been watching shows. Maybe there'll be a better time to talk about kind of the best movies I've seen since I've been on this break. But at least for right now, I want to talk about, maybe like in May or something, like when I have a week where I'm busy and I need to pre-record something way ahead of time. I'll do a video where I'll just say like my top movies of the year so far. That would probably be good. But anyway, I've been watching a ton of shows, and I don't really have time to talk about all of them, like the ones that I've seen already. If you follow me on Instagram, or I guess you wouldn't because my personal account is not really in the description or anything. But if you know me, I did finish Mad Men this year, which has become my favorite show of all time. So like I could talk about that for ages, and maybe I will some point down the line. But in this video, I just want to focus on the shows that I'm watching, like actively watching right now. And if it's a season 2 or 3 of a show, then I can obviously talk about the previous season as well. But yeah, I don't have any order for this. I just have them in the order of my notes. The first one I can just talk about, and again, I'm just going to talk about like why I started this, when I started watching it, and kind of my thoughts on it so far, and what the context of it all is. And try not to go too long in this, but you know me, I probably will. So anyway, the first one on here is I am watching Invincible season 4. You used to have Invincible poster up there. It is not anymore. Invincible is one of my favorite shows. Definitely one of my favorite Marvel shows. Definitely Marvel. Definitely one of my favorite, and I think one of the best comic book shows, especially animated in terms of the projects that are animated. Yeah, I'm watching season 4. This is actually, I don't know when this is going to go out. This might go out, and the season finale is already dropped. But as of the time I'm recording this on April 19th, it is one episode till the season finale. Episode 7 out of 8 just aired this past week. I'm loving this season. I had heard going into this, and by the way, like I love all of Invincible. There's never really been a bad point where I thought is Invincible. Again, it's probably in my top 10 shows of all time. It's one of the best comic book shows. It's one of the best shows on TV right now, in my opinion. And this season, I remember going into it, I heard from people both online and in person that have read and are fans of the comic that this may be at least the best season of the show up to this point, and maybe in the entire show, however many seasons they do. And obviously, I didn't know anything about that. I haven't read the comic. I try to avoid spoilers as much as I can, although the Invincible fan base makes that pretty hard, to be honest. But I've been trying to avoid spoilers as much as I can, and I'm going to read the comic after it's all out because I want to just appreciate the show and then read the comic afterwards, which is rare for me, but that's what I'm going to do with this show, especially since I started this and then was like, maybe I should read the comic, but at the same time, I was like, you know what, I'm going to wait. And I think the actors of the show have done that too. But yeah, so I didn't have any knowledge going into the season besides from like the one trailer I watched going into it, like things I see on TikTok occasionally because I'm on like the Invincible side of TikTok. But yeah, this season is great. I think everything about it is really interesting. Obviously, the first 3 episodes weren't really as intense and like epic in scale as these last episode 4 wasn't, but like these last 3 episodes. But I still like the start to the season too. I really like the first 2 episodes. I really like the moral struggle. And again, I should have said this before, like there will be minor spoilers for each of these shows I'm going to be discussing. I'm going to try to keep it vague, but at the same time, like I want to discuss these shows with you guys. If you haven't seen Invincible season 4, if you're not caught up, if you haven't seen the other shows I'm going to talk about in this episode, maybe just tread carefully. If you don't care about spoilers, you're good. But anyway, the first two episodes I thought were really good, kind of the moral struggle with Mark and seeing the fallout of the previous season. All that was interesting. The arc with Eve, which has kind of been sad to not have her in the last couple episodes, obviously, but I understand why. I didn't like the third episode as much. Thought it was kind of repetitive with the whole Flaxen thing. Obviously, an interesting ending that, assuming is going to be followed up on in future seasons, and we won't have time for it this season, besides from maybe episode 8, depending on or based on how episode 7 ended, with the Viltrumite saying they're going to go to Earth, but we'll see about that. But yeah, like so episode 4 I thought was terrible. Like I thought episode 4 was the worst episode of the entire show. I thought there was nothing interesting about it besides from the first scene and the last scene. I thought all the stuff in the underworld with like Satan and Darkblood. I think Darkblood's a good character, but I thought he was so annoying in this, talking at half speed, weird dialogue, weird conversations, a lot of slow points. I didn't think the action was interesting. I didn't think the storyline was necessary or interesting. I have no problem with Darkblood coming back into the story, and I'm happy that he's back on Earth. I'm curious to see where they go with that. But this episode was just not interesting to me. I wish they would have just had that whole episode as like an intro to an episode, and that was it. But yeah, and like very weird narrative they're offering too, like about Satan and all that. That was just it was just bizarre, and I didn't like it at all. But that was episode 4, and then every episode since then has been like incredible, like some of the best episodes in the show, to the point where like episode 5, 6, and 7, like I literally have no way to differentiate them. Like I was saying to someone the other day, like I love all these episodes. I have no way idea. Like if someone asks me, "Oh, what's your favorite?" Like I don't know. They're all just so good, and they're all like clearly like at the highest level that the show can offer. So that's really cool. Thrag is awesome. I think my favorite episode still though is the from this season is still episode 5 with the Conquest and Mark fight, just because I like Conquest as a villain. I like when the show gets super like gory and graphic. And yeah, so that was probably my favorite one out of all of them. But like even episode 6, I love the training montage with Omni-Man and Oliver. Episode 7, which is so epic, so crazy, so much stuff happened. And it made me so curious to see what the fallout of this is going to be. So yeah, I mean, this entire season, if it sticks to landing in episode 8, which I've heard that it probably will probably be the best season of Invincible. I think at least the most consistent, which is weird because like I said, episode 3 I was not impressed with, and then it was solid, but like nothing crazy. And then episode 4 I literally think is the worst episode in the show, but the rest of the season is so good and so epic in scale, and all the characters are so great that I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I could talk on hours on end about it, about the season of Invincible, and maybe I'll do a review once it ends next week. But as of right now, loving Invincible season 4 will probably be one of my favorite show, or one of my favorite seasons of television this year by the end of the year. But we'll get to that when we come to it. And hopefully episode 8, 6th landing. Yeah. So next one is Daredevil Born Again season 2. If you know me, I love Daredevil. I love the original show. I love the comics. I love all the characters within it. I don't think I talked about Daredevil Born Again like at length in this podcast ever. But I don't know, maybe I did a ranking of my shows at one point. It's hard to remember at this point, but I actually liked Daredevil Born Again season 1 more than most did. I could tell that it was kind of a Frankenstein's monster, and there were a lot of parts that felt stitched together, and that wasn't perfect. I'm not saying it was perfect. It's probably not amazing in comparison to the original Netflix show, because I think season 1 and season 3 of that show are just incredible. Season 2 I actually think is good too. A lot of people don't like it. I think it's good, but I prefer actually Born Again season 1 to season 2 of the original show. And also, like, I don't put the original show on this pedestal where I'm like, it can never be beat. I think it's incredible, and I think it's an era of television that was awesome, especially with the other shows coming out at the same time. I just watched a lot of them for the first time recently, and a lot of them are great too, and kind of seeing that connective tissue. But I don't think that show is unmatched. I think it can be beaten and has been beaten by both non-Marvel or both non-MCU shows and MCU shows alike. But like, for example, like Loki, those 2 seasons I think could be potentially better than Daredevil season 1 and 3. Like it's hard because Daredevil's so much longer and Loki's like a limited series basically. But my point is that I don't put it on this huge pedestal. So maybe I don't have, people could assume that to say that I don't have the high standards that I should have for Born Again, and I should be putting it, lower because it wasn't as good as the original show. Like, season one and three of the original show are definitely better than Boarding at season one, but I do think it has great moments. I actually didn't like the finale, but anyway, enough about season one. I just want to provide that as context. Going into season two, I think a lot of people were a lot more confident in this one being successful because the full creative team was on for the whole way through. All the cast was fully on board, had no concerns about it, and they were able to kind of establish their both main characters and main plot and side characters at the same time. And I think that's something that they've done really well this season is take those side characters that were interesting, but never were really fully like into the show. We never really got a full arc for any of them. Characters like Cherry, characters like um, what's her name? I know the actor's name, but I'm trying to think of the character. Kirsten, Cherry, Kirsten, the Buck, Michael Gandolfini's character, Daniel. Who else is one that's like kind of coming into more this season? You know what I mean? Like those kind of guys are getting more of an arc in this season compared to the first because of how much they changed things around in that season. So I really appreciate that. And just generally, I think this season is so far better than the first season. It does have a stick landing, of course. We are on episode 5. Again, episode 6 could be out by the time I release this, but it's not perfect. I think there's parts of this. Well, here's the thing. I think every episode of this season so far is good, and I think the last two episodes are really good. Like actively, like are really good episodes, and I think that episode 5, which is the one that just aired this past Tuesday, again when I'm recording this, I thought was the best episode in both seasons. I thought that episode was incredible. I thought it's one of the best Daredevil or one of the best Marvel TV episodes and one of the best Daredevil episodes ever. I love the flashbacks. I love the mirror of everything. And episode 4 was great because of Bullseye, and I love Bullseye, and I met the actor, so I'm a big fan of him and that character. So anyway, I think episode 4 and 5 stand above the rest, but I also think the first 3 episodes are very solid. There were parts of it that I think episode 1 and 2 started a little bit slow, and there were like sequences, like the Northern Star sequence in episode 1, for example. There was some interesting action, but I was kind of like, all right, I'm like kind of tired of this after like 2 minutes of it. So that's like an example of that. But overall, the season itself has been really good, and I think it's only going to heat up even more in the last few episodes. Obviously, episode 6, we're finally getting Jessica Jones. Kind of was bizarre to me that they put her in all the promo and then did not put her in an episode until episode 6. I'm assuming that she's going to have a big role in both episodes 6, 7, and 8. I believe this is an 8 episode season. So that'll be exciting. But again, if it was me, I would have said, hey, let's take her out of the promo. And then I think it leaked. The set photos leaked. So maybe that was the reason that they put it in the promo. But I would have just left it out of the original promo and then done a mid-season trailer where you tease her. Because it's like I spent literally all of like episode 3, 4, and 5 expecting her to show up at the end or in the middle, and then she never did. So it was kind of weird. But anyway, glad to have her back. And then obviously, if you've seen the set photos for season 3, we're getting a little the rest of the Defenders back as well. So that's exciting as well. And it's really cool to watch season 2 knowing that season 3 is already greenlit and already being worked on and will be coming out, around the same time next year. That's just cool in a vacuum because, TV these days doesn't really do those seasons, every year, or it's just becoming less and less common. But also exciting that we know like none of these storylines are will be cut in half, and if there's a storyline where I'm watching it, I'm like, well, I feel like they should address that more. We know that they have time to address it, in the very least in season 5, and I think if viewership is good, they could do it for 4 or 5. They could do Boring Game for like 4 or 5 seasons. And then maybe culminate in a movie. That's a discussion for another day. But we'll see about that. The rights issues are making that a problem with Spider-Man. But yeah, loving Daredevil Born Again season 2. Again, the last episode I thought was incredible. Episode 4 was great, and the rest of the episodes are really good too. So, and some great moments in all of them. And Charlie Cox is great. Vincent D'Onofrio in episode 4 and 5 gave to me like probably the best Kingpin acting that he has done in his entire life, like in his entire career with the character. Was so impressed because you really get to see the more emotional side of him in episode 4 and 5, and I really like that because you see that although he is this huge towering presence that just gets so angry, he is just like a man baby at certain points, and when someone affects something that he loves, that's what's going to happen. So yeah, I think he's done a great job this season. He's always does a great job, but especially this season. Charlie Cox as well. Karen having a bigger presence this season is cool. Yeah, just a great season overall so far, and I'm really excited to watch the rest of it and see what it sets up in terms of like the Punisher special presentation, in terms of potentially the future Street level projects as well, and obviously just generally season three of Born Again. So yeah, more to come on that. I'm sure we'll review that once it all comes out. But right now, that's my thoughts on it. So that's the next show I'm watching. I'm going to talk about this one for a little bit. The other show, or the next show that I'm watching, is Your Friends and Neighbors season two. Obviously, very relevant to me right now because I just watched Mad Men, which is starring John Hamm, who is also the main character of Your Friends and Neighbors. I'm sure a lot of people aren't watching this show. I'm watching with my friends, and my dad watches it, but I don't like see a lot of chatter for this on Twitter, or Instagram or TikTok or anything like that. Maybe I'm just not on the right side of things, but it's an Apple TV show, and Apple TV like does not miss with TV shows. I mean, listen, they've had some mediocre ones over the years, but like for the most part, if an Apple TV show is coming out and I like an actor in it, I'm going to watch it, and that's going to be a theme. There's going to be another show on this list that's the same thing. But yeah, Friends and Neighbors season one. The only reason I watched it was because someone recommended it to me, and I like John Hamm a lot. And this is before I even watched Mad Men, so now I have even more of appreciation for him. But yeah, season one was great. It's not anything like super like groundbreaking, like 5 out of 5 star, like one of the best shows of the year, but it is really good. I love John Hamm's character. I love the concept. I love the supporting cast. This season, James Marsden is in the supporting cast, which I love right now because I'm a big fan of his, especially currently because of all the X-Men stuff that's coming out at the end of the year. So that's great. And I like how season one and two, like although the backdrop of the show is still there, it is bringing in a lot of new concepts and kind of seeing how the main character has to adjust to what happened in season one. Again, I'm not going to go super in depth on this because I know a lot of people haven't seen it, and it's not really a show where like there's a huge discussion week to week. But it is a great show, and I recommend it to anyone that has liked the Apple TV shows, has liked, likes John Hamm, likes James Marsden. I think the creator of it has done a couple other shows, so, like you can check out what he's done, and also just generally, like if you're looking for a good show, it's not too long. You can catch up pretty quickly. And like I said, season three or season two is coming out weekly. I think, I just watched episode three. So, we're not even close into it. So you can easily catch up by the time season two is over. It's already greenlit for season three and they're filming it very soon. So I'm very excited about that. This is a great show, very solid. I can't make any comparisons from season one to season two yet because literally we're 3 episodes in, but it's feeling so far on the same level as season one, and maybe it'll be better. Who knows? But yeah, great show. I mean, I'm glad that I'm being able to bring awareness to it because I'm sure not a lot of people have heard of it or are watching it. So yeah, go watch it. It's a great show. That's the next one in this list. These are just, by the way, these are not in order, like, because this next one is going to be a show that came out last year, so there's no order to these. It's just like I'm naming them as they are on my list. So the next show that I'm watching is, and by the way, this is crazy. I'm literally watching like, what is this? One, two, three, four, five, six. I'm literally watching 7 shows at once right now. It's just like, it's crazy. I found myself a schedule and all that, and I'm figuring it out, but it's just crazy. It's just always too much stuff to watch. But the next show that I'm watching right now is Welcome to Derry season one. I'm trying to get caught up on the limited series that came out last year. Welcome to Derry is one. I just watched. What was the other show? Oh, Andor. I just finished Andor because that was the season two came out last year, and I wanted to kind of watch that, so I finished that. And then Welcome to Derry was the next one on my list. Another one where I was recommended by a ton of people, and the word of mouth online was incredibly positive. Joe Depo is one of the main characters of it. I love him because I love Three Body Problem, the book series, and the TV show. Another one where if you have not seen, go watch it, please. It is totally worth it. But yeah, with Welcome to Derry, like I don't really have any experience in this universe. Like I've never seen the It movies. I've watched like clips of them, and I think I watched like the Dead Meat video on them back in the day. So like I'm aware of it, and I know about the franchise, but I'd never seen the movies before this, and you don't really need to. Like I can say as someone who's been watching this, I watched the first 4 episodes, or yeah, first 4 episodes. You don't need to see the movies. Like they make it their own story, and they explain all the lore about Derry, and they've been touching on the Pennywise lore a little bit. So I've still had a fine experience with it, not watching the movies, and it's probably going to motivate me to watch the movies after I finish this season. But yeah, it's a great show. It's really good. I'm not really a horror person. I'm trying to get more into it this year. If you follow me on Letterboxd, you've seen that I've been watching a lot more horror movies and shows to this point. That was kind of sparked by a few of the projects that came out last year, like Weapons, that I really liked. But I'm not a huge horror guy, but I am really enjoying this. It's creepy, it's scary. It's got a really crazy first episode that kind of changes everything that you think about the show and the cast of characters. The lore is really interesting. There's a lot of great themes in it with like racial. It takes place in the 60s, so like, or I think it's the 60s, somewhere around that era. And it's got like a lot of narratives about race, class. There's supernatural elements to it. There's coming of age elements to it because like a lot of the main cast is kids. So yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, I'm trying to think of like I don't have any like concerns of it I can really get into so far. It's just really good so far. In the last episode I watched, episode 4, they explained a lot of the lore of the universe, and I found it really interesting. So um yeah, everything about it so far is really good. I don't really have any concerns. I'm not saying anything that you've probably not already heard already. I know this show was perceived very well. I think they've already greenlit for a season 2 and maybe a season 3. So that'll be really interesting. And yeah, so far it's really good. And I'm really curious to finish it and see how it ends. Probably not one I'm going to review fully on this podcast. But maybe I'll give a quick tweet about when I finish it or something. But unless it completely falls off the rails, the last 4 episodes, it's going to be, a really high rating for me. And yeah, I've finished episode 4 of 8 right now, and I am excited to finish the rest of it. So that's Welcome to Derry. The next one on here is The Boys season 5. It is a crazy month for comic book stuff. We got Invincible, we've got what did I just say, Daredevil, and now we got The Boys, and also there's Maul. There's a lot of like ton of comic book stuff coming out. It's a very good year for comic book stuff, and it's starting really here with the shows. But yeah, the Boys season 5. My experience with The Boys is that I really enjoy the show. I really enjoy the characters, and the concept is great and very creative. It does get a little too much for me sometimes. Like I don't mind gore, and I get how the kind of style is more of like the creepy sexual aspects of the universe, but sometimes it's just like it just gets too much for me, and that's why I like the show would never really get up there for me in terms of like the best comic book projects ever. I know it's like that for a lot of people, and for a lot of people that think it's the best one. I think it's great. I think the narrative it offers as like a parody of superhero stuff. As a Marvel fan, I'm not like offended by that. I think it's great. I think it's necessary. I think it's funny. Again, I think the characters are all amazing. I think the actors and the cast are great. And yeah, it's just one of those shows where like I'm watching it and I'm just like, come on. It's another show that I'm about to tell you about on this list is the same way where I'm just like, it just takes me out of it. I'm just like, I don't want to see this. Like, I have no interest in seeing like Homelander. Like, I don't even want to say it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, go watch the show, like, and you'll see what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it already. But yeah, the Boys is a great show. And then season 5, I like season 4 a lot more than most people did. I think a lot of people were pretty low on season 4. I enjoyed it, and then I'm also really enjoying season 5 so far. 3 episodes have aired at the time of I'm recording this, and all 3 of them are really good. I enjoyed every single one of them. I had a small problem with episode 2, but like it wasn't really a big deal. And yeah, I mean, I think the best thing that the season is doing so far is making it so the stakes are really felt. Like we feel that this is a season 5 watching it. Partly because of what happened. I'm gonna steer clear of spoilers for this one because it literally just came out. But partly because of what happens at the end of episode 1, partly because of what happens at the end of episode 2, and generally just the main plot of the season being about this virus. I'm not gonna like that's not a spoiler because like listen, like that's in the trailers and stuff, and it's the main plot of the season. But partly because of those reasons, this does really feel like a season 5, and the stakes feel super high. And it's not always the case with every show, for better or worse. Like you don't always watch a last season, and excuse me. Usually, when a show fails to stick the landing, it's because you don't feel those stakes. I think it's a lot of a problem that a lot of people had with the newest season of Stranger Things or the last season of Stranger Things. If you saw my review, I didn't have that problem. I really enjoyed the last season, but I'm just using it as an example. But for the Boys, like I think they're doing a really good job of feeling like the stakes are super high. No one is safe, and this is going to be kind of the conflict to end all conflicts in this universe. So yeah, it's great so far. Only 3 episodes, obviously. I think out of like probably 10 or something. I don't know. I haven't, I literally have it down here. So let me just look. Let me see. TV shows. 8 episodes in total. So there you go. So I was wrong. But anyway, I'm really enjoying it. It's really good so far, and I'm not gonna go too far into it. I will probably review that for the site. It's just hard for me because again, like it's not that I don't want like that kind of show like being represented on like my brand. It's not that. It's just like hard for me to talk about sometimes because like so many of the storylines are just like bizarre and wacky and sexual and just weird. Like so like I'll probably review it for the site, especially if it's really good. But we'll see. Maybe I'll just do an episode where I talk about the finale and the kind of spoiler um spoiler special of the finale. Maybe I'll do that. But anyway, that's The Boys. Really good so far. Curious to watch the rest. The second to last one on this list is a limited series on Apple called Margo's Got Money Troubles. You might have heard of this just because the promotion for it has actually been really good. I feel like every time I turn on the TV, there's either a commercial or a pop up that talks about the show. This is based off a book that I have not read. I really didn't know anything about the show going into it. The sole reason I started it is because Elle Fanning is the lead character, and I'm a big fan of her generally, but also a lot much more after last year with Predator Badlands and Sentimental Value, which are two of my favorite movies from last year. So I'm a big fan of her right now and in general. So and she's the lead character, and I saw the trailer and it looked kind of interesting, and I was like, you know what? I had some free time on Friday, and I was like, you know what? Let's just throw on the first episode. The first 3 episodes were out, and I got hooked on it. It's really good. It is also like in points like might be too much for some people. Definitely not like The Boys, but like in the sense that like there's a lot of nudity in the show, and the plot of it is very what's the word like very mature and it's like a very kind of not like a dark show but like there's a lot of cursing, there's a lot of nudity, there's a lot of darkness in it with some of the themes, but it's really good. First off, it's really funny. Like the entire thing and the entire concept of it is really funny. If you don't know, like the concept of it is that Elle Fanning's character is attending college as a freshman. She's kind of like trying to find her way in the world as a writer, and she basically her her this is not going to be 100% PG, by the way, just FYI. Her college professor gets her pregnant, and she's like, I mean, 19 or 20, like I said, a freshman in college, and she makes the decision to keep the baby. The teacher basically just gets out of her life and doesn't provide for her at all. So he has to figure out how to support this baby and how to live with this baby as a, whatever, 18 or 19-year-old in college, living with roommates and with a family that is not totally supporting her either. Her mother is there for her, but doesn't have the most money in the world. And then her father is estranged. So it's a really interesting concept. And Elle Fanning is great. Michelle Pfeiffer plays her mom, and they're both just phenomenal together. There's a scene, I believe it was in episode 1, where they're in the car and they're arguing, and it's just phenomenal. I would not be surprised to see either of them get awards recognition for this. When the Emmys come around, I think it'll compete for limited series, so it'll be less competition. So maybe this will be the adolescence of last year. That's probably unlikely, but you never know. But anyway, I've seen all the first 3 episodes, and it's great. I'm definitely going to keep watching it. Again, I went into this not knowing if I was going to like it or if I was going to keep watching, but so far it is really good, and I'm really enjoying it. And I think that I'm going to continue to enjoy it and continue to keep watching it. Elle Fanning is great as the lead character. Nick Offerman actually plays her dad. He comes in a lot more prominently in the third episode, and he's always funny, and his character is actually a bit tragic. So that's a bit interesting, and to see where it goes with that. But again, I'm going to be a bit vague about the plot because I want you to go watch it and see it for yourself. But yeah, it's great. It's really good so far, and I'm thinking that it's going to be, if it keeps this up, one of the better shows of 2026, at least in terms of limited series, because I haven't watched too many of them so far. Going to catch up on them, but haven't yet. So yeah, I'll be watching that every week, I believe. I really should have gone through and said like when new episodes of each of these shows are coming out. You know what? I'm gonna do that right now because this is the last new show that I'm doing. So Invincible season 4 is Wednesdays, but the finale is coming out on Wednesday, so it'll all be out by then. Daredevil Born Again is Tuesday nights. Your Friends and Neighbors season 2 is Thursday nights. The Boys season 5 is Wednesdays at like 3 a.m. And then Margo's Got Money Troubles, I believe, is Tuesdays or Wednesday nights. I'm not sure because, again, I just caught up with it on Friday, so I'm not really 100% sure. But Apple usually does 9 p.m. night before like the actual day it releases. So that's what it's going to be. It's probably Tuesday night. So, yeah. That's when all those are releasing. And to put a bow on Margo's Got Money Troubles, it's really good so far. I'm very curious to see where it goes from here. And yeah, I'm assuming it's like a very faithful adaptation of the book. But like I said, I haven't seen it, so or seen it. I haven't read the book, so I don't really know. But I've heard that it's a very faithful adaptation to the books. That's great. Yeah, that's the last new show that's coming out this year. The final show that I'm watching right now is Euphoria season two, not season three. I've been trying to catch up on it before season three comes out, but I didn't have time. So I'm just gonna have to kind of get caught up when I finish season two, like in the middle of when season three is releasing, which is right now. Yeah. So that was like the sole reason that I wanted to watch the show is because I liked all the actors in it, but also because season three was coming out and I kind of wanted to be in the loop. Um, Similar to the boys, like this is a show where like it is interesting, but it's so like just like graphic and just weird, and the style of it is so like interesting and bizarre. The way I've described the show to my friends is like the show is so bad that it's good. Like it's the writing in some places is so terrible, and the whole show is just basically gossip and like drama, and it's basically these characters that are in high school that are just crazy and insane, and all the things that are happening to them within that. But I like it's interesting enough for like I watched season one and I was like I want to keep watching this, but it's like a reality TV show, but like in a drama format. That's basically what it is. Like it's like you see these crazy things that are happening to all these kids that are in high school, and I guess adults in some cases too. And it's just insane everything that happens. There's parts of it which is like I just have to look away because they're so weird. But it's good. It's interesting. I mean, it's not like peak cinema in any way. It's probably like I rated season one as like there's been a lot of good shows this year, so this isn't the worst thing in the world. But like I rated season one as the lowest show so far that I've seen this year. But I'd still give it like a maybe like a 7 or 7.5 out of 10. So because it's good and I am enjoying it, and the acting is great. I mean, Zendaya, like in the lead role, you can see why her career took off because she's just incredible. Like the whole cast is good, but she's like leagues above everyone else in the cast. I actually wouldn't say the whole cast is good. The whole cast is like fine, but like Zendaya herself is really good, and there's some other people in it that are doing a really good job. But she's great in the lead role, so I can see where her career took off. And yeah, the show was interesting enough to like I want to watch it. If you are thinking about watching this and you haven't yet, first off, you'll watch the first episode, you'll know if you want to keep watching it. That's how it is with a lot of shows, but especially this one. But I would totally recommend watching this with someone else. I have not done that, but I think it's one of those shows where it's just so crazy that it's so good to watch with someone else. It's like White Lotus. That's what White Lotus is to me. Like I need to watch that with someone else just because there's so much to discuss about it. And that's what I'd recommend for Euphoria if you were planning on watching it. And yeah, not much else to say for it. It's good. It's interesting. Oh, Hunter Schafer too. Like, it's Dan Hunter Schafer. Those are the two people that are really standouts to me in terms of the characters and cast. And Jacob Elordi is good as well. I don't think it's his most impressive project, especially after Frankenstein, but he's good in it as well. So he's doing a good job. And I think all of them are back for the season three, which is just crazy because all their careers have complete like literally everyone. Like you've got all those people I just mentioned, like Sydney Sweeney as well. Coleman Domingo is in it. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that's like a notable actor. Austin Abrams, like there's a lot of people that have come. Clearly, other careers take off probably because of the show, and now they've all come back for season three when they're already established stars. So like credit to the creator of it, and credit to those people for coming back because that's very impressive. They would even choose to come back for a season three. Obviously, I don't know how season two ends, so I don't really know how it sets up a season three and if it sets up a season three. And I heard the season three is by far the weakest season of the show, so that'll be interesting. I guess we'll see. Maybe if I had known that going into it, maybe I wouldn't have started this show. But I'm glad that I did because it is interesting, and I do like a lot of the characters in it. But yeah, I've literally only watched one episode of season two, so I can't really talk about it much. But curious to see where it goes. Curious to see. Just like sort of my words there. Curious to see where it goes, and curious to keep watching it. And maybe I'll review season three if it's bad because I feel like I don't review a lot of bad stuff these days. Like unless it's like a Marvel project, I feel like a lot of the time when a project is like mid or bad, I usually just don't review it because I don't like talking about projects. Like I don't like talking down projects. Like I like talking positively about things. And there is a lot of reviews on my site that are like 2 stars or below, but I like talking about good things. But I think maybe it's time for like a bad review on the site. So if season three is as bad as people are saying, maybe I'll get through that and review it for the site. But Anyway, it's good so far. Interesting. Not one of the better shows I've seen this year, but still good. So yeah, that's everything I'm watching so far. Or that's everything that I'm watching right now. Um, in terms of like other shows that I've seen this year that have come out, The Pit, Fallout, Paradise, and Wonder Man, I've all seen. I actually reviewed Wonder Man for the site, so you don't need to think about that so far. But The Pit, Fallout, and Paradise were all great. I don't have time to talk about it today, but just want to let you know, like I was watching those and I did finish them. And like I said, the other big show was Mad Men. I finished basically all of that this year, and it is my new favorite show of all time. So I'd recommend that to anyone. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. I don't know if I went long or not, but if I did, I apologize. Just had a lot to talk about because I've been away so long. And like if I'm a bit rusty in terms of like talking and kind of getting my bearings straight after being off for so long again, I will get used to it again. I'm just getting used to it, all over again after whatever it is, like 3 months of not recording. So yeah. Anyway, this has been Roguei Media. This is all the stuff that I'm watching right now. Let me know in the comments or on Twitter or whatever what you think about these shows or what you're watching that I'm missing. I'm always open to recommendations, although like my list is just, and you saw how many shows I'm watching right now, that my list is so long to the point where like it might be hard for me to catch another show. But hey, recommend me something in the comments and maybe I'll get to it and talk about it in the next episode or whatever. So yeah. Again, I'm back on weekly videos every week. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep like the every Friday schedule. But I'm sure that I'm not going to do that. But it's going to be like every day it's set for Friday. But I'll be on a consistent schedule. And again, just keep an eye on the social medias where my Twitter and the Roguei Media Twitter and Instagram, the Roguei Media Instagram, like they'll always have new posts when they come out. So thanks for all the support in advance. And I appreciate everyone for tuning in. And I will see you on the next one.